Well, hello, everybody. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, wherever you're at. I see my friends in Australia. What is it, 3 a.m. there? It's good to see you. I got a monitor down here, and I got monitors all over the place, just so you know. So if I'm looking off camera, I'm usually looking at you. Just so you kind of get an idea what we're doing, but throw into the chat where you're connecting from. I see New York, Arizona. Um, I know we got Australia, Florida, Virginia, a lot of U.S., UK. Hi, Robert. Estonia, Silvio, Germany, Missouri. That's its own country, kind of. Winnipeg, Nebraska. We got a lot of family in Nebraska. I don't know if you know that. Dubai, Amelia. Hi. How are you? Anyway, I'm excited to be able to spend the day with you today. And let me tell you how the day is going to go. Um, this is like our conversation, and I'm gonna have a little conversation with you before we start. Then we're gonna do the certification in chunks, a block at a time. All right, we'll have opening session, and then we'll have part one, part two, part three, part four. We'll go through the whole thing. I think it's gonna be about and I don't know because I have all the content, but I've never fully trained all the content. You're getting the first time that I'm putting it all together, all in one place. So I think it's going to be about 4 hours or so of actual content. Maybe a little bit more, maybe a little bit less. Not quite sure. You're not going to see a lot of slides today because we just found that I end up doing too much improvisation, because I'll go deeper on a particular topic or I'll change things a little bit on the fly. And then the slides and workbook doesn't match whatever it is that I'm saying in the video. So we want to make it match. So we're going the opposite way, where I'm going to give you the content, take as much notes as you can. Then we're going to have the content match the workbooks. We're going to have the content match all the different flow and everything else. So it all is one cohesive course. And the slides will be put in for a replay, so people will be able to see kind of the different sections. Okay, so that makes sense. In between most of the sections, we will do some Q&A. We'll take a break here or there when we feel like we need it. And I'm thinking somewhere in the next 2 hours or so, 2.5 hours, we'll take maybe a 30-minute lunch break, or dinner break, or breakfast break, or meal break, wherever you are in the world. And we'll take a couple bathroom breaks as we go. Okay, and sometimes the Q&A time, if you need to go to the bathroom, might be a time to be able to go relieve yourself and get something to drink, whatever you need. I think that's it. How many of you have received a GoPro or Pro Code book? Put a 1 in the chat if you've received yours. Good, makes me happy. Put a 2 in the chat if you finished it. Any of you fast readers? Has any of you finished? Is it? Oh, Robert. So, and Tova has a few of you have. Great. Some people are realizing, man, it's been a minute since I read. I've been listening to audio books, and I've been doing this, and I've been doing that. I actually read a physical book, and I actually have this in my hands. We talked during the Pro Code launch about this whole idea of being an ambassador. I before we start, I just want to tell you something that I have in the works. Okay, I want to gamify the Pro Code program a bit, and here's what I mean. The people who are helping me spread the word about Pro Code, because I think the book itself is going to help change the game around the world and increase people's skills, standards, belief, all of it. I just want to recognize those people and I want to give them perks. And we're kind of used to leveling up in our business. So when we had the book launch, we had this ambassador title for people who got 100 books. I decided to modify that a bit. And so like a typical compensation plan, 10 books and a person becomes a bronze ambassador and they're going to get perks for that. Silver is 25 books. Gold, which is what a lot of people at the launch did, 100 books, came with a bunch of perks. Platinum, 500 books. Diamond, 1,000 books. And this can be something that people can accumulate over time. So if you get 10 at a time, 25 at a time, and it gets up. Ace, you're almost at the platinum level, right? He did 400 books for you and your team, or you had some event or something. So, and there's going to be, and as it gets higher and higher, there's going to be more access to me. There's going to be, private coaching sessions and things like that. So we haven't figured out all the perks yet, but there are going to be perks. I just wanted to make you guys aware as a leadership group that this exists. Procodebook.com is the best place to just be able to go pick up books at discounts. Okay. Yeah. And Mary Jo is asking for the workbook to download. Yeah. Workbooks are going to come after. Training comes now. Because we want to make sure that they match what I end up saying. And I'm notorious for going off the reservation. So if you're ready, put a 3 in the chat if you're ready. You good? Ready to go? Ready to take some notes? Fantastic. Our team here is going to do the best they can to record all this. But your energy, you'd be surprised how much your energy, even if it's on a screen, impacts me. So I appreciate you tuning in. I appreciate you paying attention. I appreciate the intensity in which that you're being a student here to learn. All right. So let's get started. Here we go. Opening session. Welcome to Retention Mastery inside of the GoPro certification program. I'm excited to share some ideas with you on how to improve retention. In this opening session, I want to talk to you about the concept of retention and why it's so important. I'm not going to say it's everything, but it's a lot. We have sales, we have recruiting, and most people have this debate between sales and recruiting. Oh, I need to sell more, or I need to recruit more, or I'm selling more and I need to swing the pendulum this way or that way. And they forget that retention is as important as it is. This is one of the areas that is maybe most neglected in our profession. And if it's improved, your business can grow at levels that you may have never experienced in your life. See, most people in network marketing think they have a recruiting problem. They spend 90% of their energy on getting a yes. Yay, I got somebody. They celebrate the enrollment. They post welcome to the team on a graphic. They introduce everybody on the next Zoom. They think the job's done. But here's the truth. If you've got 100 people joining your team every month, and 100 people leaving every month, or 100 people joining every year and 100 people leaving every year, you don't really have a business. You've got a job. You have a revolving door. You're working yourself to death just to stay in the same place. And some of you have experienced this already. And recruiting is loud. Attrition is quiet. A sale is loud. A customer when a customer stops ordering, that's quiet, right? We have this big, bold stuff, but they're coming in the front door with a big parade, but then they're like sneaking out the back door. So we're going to stop this pattern today. Not only for you as GoPro certification members, but I want to empower you to be able to educate the teams that you build, people in your country, people in your language, people in your region. I want you being certified to be able to go help improve this issue. We're going to stop valuing the start coming in the front door more than the stay, because the start builds your ego and the stay builds your wealth. We got to get people to stay, okay? Longer than they were going to. Nobody stays forever. Nothing happens forever. But retention's about longer, right? Think about like a monthly subscription that you've been a member of for a short period of time, and for many of you, like a Netflix that you had for a long period of time. Some of you have had Netflix longer than you can remember. Some of you got sick of Netflix at some point and just said, nope, no more Netflix. I'm done with it, right? But so even with things that are wildly popular like Netflix, there's an end to that process. So the short-term thing is one, the long-term thing is another. Selling gets people in the door, right? We're going to sell. Recruiting grows the team. Retention allows everything to compound. See, duplication cannot happen without retention. Leadership becomes easier when people stay longer. You have the opportunity to help people develop. So this leaky bucket that we've talked about, you've got a bucket, you're pouring water in the top, that's sales and recruiting. But if there's a hole in the bottom, and it doesn't take much. I mean, if I take this and I just take a little pinprick, boom, or take a pen into a plastic cup and I just put a little hole. It's not and the hole in the top's this big and the hole in the bottom's this big. It's going to go out almost as fast as it goes in. How long will it take? If you have a cup that's like this big, plastic cup or paper cup, and there's just a little hole in the bottom, you fill it to the top, you go on a recruiting binge, you recruit 20 people in 30 days, you bring in a bunch of customers. How long is it going to take before that leaks out the bottom? In real time with a real cup, it's like a minute. 5 seconds to fill the cup or less, a minute to lose it. So we need to acknowledge this leaky bucket, and then we need to work on improving it. So first thing in acknowledging is just, I want you to understand this concept. Measure everything. Measure everything. Write that into your notes. You need to measure everything. Sometimes we are not willing to look at problems in our business because it's too painful to look. So we kind of ignore it. Like, la, 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 it's not happening, it's not happening, it's not happening. You need to measure retention. How long are you keeping a customer? How many orders are they making? How long are they staying? What is your distributor retention? How long is the distributor staying active in building your business? And sometimes distributor retention is a little tricky. Here's why. We don't downgrade somebody from distributor to customer in our back office, but that's what they became. We lost them as a distributor, but we kept them as a customer. But we kind of mentally count it that we still have them as a distributor. No, you don't. They're not doing any distributor activity. So how can you measure that? So I want you to be thinking in three separate areas. Customer retention, that's one. Distributor retention, not just in title, but in intention. Do they have an intention to build a business still or not? Have they just become a customer? And three, leader retention. Keeping leaders longer. All three are wildly important. And identify where your business might be leaking. Are customers not reordering? Where is the big point? Sometimes it's the second order. They place the first order, but the second order, that's where you lose them. Or maybe it's the third order. That's where you lose them. Customers not reordering. Distributors going inactive. Or going from distributor intention to customer intention. And you didn't even notice because they're still active. You know, they're not producing anything, but you didn't notice really. Leaders drifting, thinking that maybe they're burned out or losing belief. Leaders are really, really important. So identify where your business is leaking and be honest with yourself. The work to acquire a new customer or distributor is expensive in terms of time, energy, influence. Retention is the new recruiting. Growing organizations, and understand, write that down. Retention is the new recruiting. The organizations that are growing the fastest don't just recruit better, they retain better. Retention is not a passive outcome, something that happens if the product is good or if the company does its job. It's an active process, something you do through developing systems. And that's what we're going to be talking about. Retention is buying time. Buying time for product results, belief, skills, friendships, confidence, commitment. It's buying time for people to become emotionally attached to either your product or your business or your leadership team. Customer retention increases stability within your organization. It actually builds belief because if you keep adding every month, here's what kills belief. You're adding new distributors and customers every month, but your volume's not growing overall as a team. That's annoying. You're adding people regularly, but your check's not growing. That's annoying. So, guess what I've learned? Here's one of the things that I've learned in being around this profession for a long time. One of the things that I've learned is growth, even if it's small, is enough. Here's what I mean by that. If somebody is making $300 this month, and next month they made $320. They're good. They're good. If they make $280, they made $300 this month, they make $280 next month, they're not so good. You know, it doesn't need to be much, but show me a distributor in your team that every month their customer count goes up, every month their income increases even a little bit. And they'll give you all the patience in the world. They'll give you all the time in the world. They'll be plugged into everything because, hey, last month it was 300. This month's 350. Next month's 425. Month after that's 470. It doesn't have to be double, 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 double. It just has to be a little bit. Okay? So that, for me, that's what retention will help you do. Okay? So customer retention increases stability dramatically. Distributor retention creates the environment where duplication becomes possible. You have enough time to be able to apply to these people. And leadership retention protects the long-term future of your organization. Customer retention, distributor retention, and leadership retention. These are the three areas that we're going to go through together. Let's get started. All right. Any questions about this intro? It's pretty straightforward, yeah? Give me one big idea that you got out of section 1. Put it in the chat. One big idea. What's one thing that stood out for you? Janet says, we so need to address this topic. Yes, this is the silent killer in our business. Oh my gosh. Nurturing, 3 levels of retention. Small growth is enough. Measure everything. Even little growth is good. Little growth is just, it's like a superpower. How do you measure? You're going to have to go look, right? And we'll get into more measurement, but you're going to have to like really pay attention. Little growth is good. Retention is the new recruiting. Retention is building time, buying time. Yes. Building time, maybe. Yeah, good. Good. Shift the focus. And again, here's what I want you to be thinking about. A balanced business. I want you to have a balanced business. And the only way that you can have a balanced business is if you've got sales, you've got recruiting, you have retention as a part of that balance, you've got duplication, and you've got leadership. A balanced business. So, what are you guys working on over there? Figuring out the slides. All right, no worries. They're figuring out notes on this side. So a balanced business. So it's not about, I don't want you to take your eye off the ball when it comes to bringing in new sales and bringing in new recruits because you're totally obsessed with retention, because you become like the Dead Sea. If all you do is retention, water comes in, nothing flows. And you hold on to everybody. You don't have any new growth. You got to have new growth. That's part of your business. Netflix loses 2% of its subscribers every month. Did you know that? Every month. 2%. Now they have marketing campaigns in order to, and new movies and new shows and everything else in order to be able to bring in more than they lose. So they end up with net growth. But you want to hear something crazy? While we're figuring out this stuff here. Well, I'll just tell you because you won't be able to guess. Well, I'll ask you anyway. What do you think it costs Netflix to deliver its product per year? All the shows, all the servers, 30 billion, 10 billion, 300 million. Here's what I'll tell you. $40 billion. No, sorry. $45 billion. $45 billion. Guess how much they bring in revenue? $40 billion. They lose $5 billion a year. Like, what a great business. But because they're on Wall Street and people are buying multiples of the future, they lose $5 billion in cash flow per year in order to be able to keep people at $15 a month. So sometimes we're a little hard on ourselves. Like, our retention's so crappy. Well, you're not selling at $15 a month. Netflix is at $15 a month. How much is your monthly? What does the average person in your organization pay per month for your product or service? Put that in the chat for a second. How much? $65, $120, $43, $120, $150, $30, $100. What if Netflix doubled its price from $15 to $30? What if they made it $120? Do you think they'd lose 2% a month, or would it be a bigger number? It'd be a much bigger number. It'd be a humongous number. So at a bigger number, you're going to have to work a little harder. This is why customer association, you got to be obsessed with this in order to, and build a culture around it in order for it to be real. Okay? So just understand, with the price elasticity type situation, the lower the price, the easier retention. The more people just kind of set it and forget it. The higher the price, the more you're going to have to work on it in order to be able to get people to see the long-term value of being around. Okay? All right. So Let's get into, we ready? All right. The next section, the session we're going to do is just customer retention. Okay. Here we go. So in Retention Mastery, as we talked about, we're going to talk about customer retention, distributor retention, and leader retention. The first category that we're going to tackle together is customer retention. So customer retention isn't about getting another order. It's about creating another reason to stay. Customers don't stay because they made a purchase. They stay because they continue finding value. So what I want you to think about early, like how, if in this concept of measuring everything, how do we start with customers? The big idea is customer lifetime value. And this is something that you can calculate and you can ask your company to help with. Companies notoriously do not want to share this number because it's not a happy number. Like, how many dollars is an average customer going to spend with you over their lifetime on average? Some of you have customers that have been with you for 5 years, 10 years. But then you have other customers that made one order. What is the average? What is the average? So customer retention is about increasing the value of every customer relationship. This idea of customer lifetime value. You have the order size. How much is the order on average? The order frequency. How often do they order? Is it monthly? Is it quarterly? Is it annually? And then you have how long, what is the lifespan of that customer? So here's a way to calculate. What's the number of active customers you have right now? What's the total orders that they've made? And what's the average order value? What's the average number of orders per customer? And you can use all that to estimate your customer lifetime value. Just the fact of you measuring this is going to improve it. You're going to realize, for some of you, your average customer lifetime value is $250. There's other people in your company that it's $500. Other people it's $100. Because of the quality of how you bring people in and how you work with people is going to impact this dramatically. So if you become customer obsessed, right, you can increase this number over time. So number of customers, total number of orders, average order value, average number of orders per customer, how many, and you can use that to estimate your customer lifetime value. Okay? Retention can improve customer lifetime value. If you can get customers to buy more per order, that's going to increase the thickness of your business. They tried this, maybe try that. If customers order more often, that will help as well. If customers stay longer, that will also help. And we're going to talk about lots of different methods in order to be able to do this, but figuring out, sometimes we get stuck in one size fits all in network marketing. Like, we have people on AutoShip and you're either on AutoShip or you're not. And if you're not, we kind of forget about those people. Or if people order for a while and then they stop ordering, we forget about that person. How many things did you order in your life or you buy somewhere and you stopped buying for a season? It didn't mean you didn't still like the product. Maybe you just had some extra, or maybe you tried something else for a minute, but you're ready to come back and buy again. Sometimes we just close the door to somebody that would buy again because, well, you're not on AutoShip. Boom, you're dead to me type of situation. So We get customers to buy more per order. We get customers to order more often. We get customers to stay longer. We get customers to try more things. We get customers to refer others. There's one organization that I work with. They have a huge, huge presence in India. And one of their strategies, and they're one of the fastest growing organizations in the world. You know what they do when they sign up a customer? They go to the house of the customer and they meet the family. They go break bread. They go have dinner together. They go get to know everybody. And they find out, can they help the kids? Can they help the spouse? Can they help somebody else in the family? Can they serve? Can they connect? And they build relationship. What a retention strategy. Oh my gosh. Think about if you went to the home of every customer you signed up and you just got to know each other. Would you increase your customer lifetime value? For sure. And it wouldn't even be like hard work. It would just automatically happen just by telling the family about what you have. So big companies know customer lifetime values. Network marketers usually don't, but we should. Here's something for your notes. It costs 7 times more energy to get a new person than to keep an existing one. It'll cost you 7 times more emotional, physical energy to go get a new customer than to just keep one that you have. But we don't pay attention to that. We sign them and keep moving. I'm going to go get the next one. We forget. We look at the front where we're pouring in the top and we ignore. I'm not going to look at that. The hole in the bottom. John Taffer is he has a television show in the United States called Bar Rescue, where he goes into these restaurants and bars and helps them turn their business around. And he has this story where he has the statistics of how do you get somebody to come and be a regular at a restaurant. He said, and here's how he explains it. If a person comes to a restaurant, their first experience, and they have a flawless experience, amazing, everything's great, the statistical likelihood of them returning a second time is 42%. Now, if anything goes wrong at all, if there's any friction, if somebody screwed up on the order, if the server was rude, if the food was cold, if the carbonation wasn't in the beverage, if something was outrageously too expensive, or they miscalculated, anything like that, it just plummets. But if it's flawless, 42%. Okay, great. They come back second time. They have a second flawless experience. Well, it should go up huge. It only goes from 42 to 47% on average. But if you can get them to come back for a third time and they have a flawless experience, a third time, now their return rate goes to 72%. So a smart restaurant doesn't market to one visit or one order or one meal. They market to 3. Some of you are not marketing to multiple orders. You're marketing to one. You're not thinking about a longer term experience. You're thinking about one. So loyalty isn't born at the sale. In this case, in a restaurant, it's cemented at the third successful result. Most distributors stop marketing after the first order. Professionals market to multiple orders. Let's talk about why customers leave. And a lot of times, guess what? We over dramatize why they leave. They don't storm out. When you went and bought something at the store, you go to some store and you buy something. And you come back the next time and you don't buy it the next time. That doesn't mean you're mad. It just means you're trying something else or whatever, or you didn't think about it this time and it wasn't on your list. I mean, it's not that big a deal. Customers usually don't leave because the product is bad. Sometimes they do. They try it. It didn't meet their expectations. Oftentimes they leave because the experience was weak. So let's talk about some common reasons customers leave. One, they bought the product or service and never used it. And before you judge somebody, think about the fact, how many products have you bought and never used? How many services have you signed up for and never used? How many apps have you downloaded and never used? I downloaded 2 this last week. I said, okay, I've got to figure out my food. I've got to figure out my nutrition. So I used AI to ask what's the absolute best app to be able to figure out my macros. It's called Macro Factor. Downloaded it. I think I uploaded 2 meals and I was done. It was so annoying. I mean, I tried to figure out how to, I have like a Greek yogurt thing with blueberries and super healthy like keto granola and a little bit of honey on top and a little bit of almond butter. Okay. It's about 400 calories from what I understand. To figure out how to load in all those macros for that one little yogurt thing, I had to push like 40 buttons. I'm like, nope, I'm out. I'm not doing it. And then for workouts, because I lost my trainer, I'm trying to find a new trainer. I'm like, oh, okay, I have a thing called Fitbod. It's going to teach me how to work out. Guess how many times I used it? 0. I still have it. I'm buying all the in-app stuff. But I mean, how many apps have you not used? I mean, come on. It's normal. Now, we're going to talk about how do we get that started? Because if there was a Macro Factor consultant that would sit with me and show me how to load my meals, and it wasn't hard and it was super easy, I probably would keep going. But since I don't have that, I don't have any patience. I'm out. So a lot of people leave because they never started using the product in the first place, or they used it inconsistently, or they didn't understand the full value of the product. Sometimes products don't have a demonstrable immediate result, and they take some time. We didn't set the experience, or they didn't get results right away, or they didn't get results as fast as they thought. They weren't educated about what it is that they purchased. There was no follow-up. Right? They didn't feel supported. Their expectations weren't managed. Here's a big one. There was no emotional connection. Like, take this Whoop band right here. I have an emotional connection with this product. I engage with this product every single day. I have tracked this, and I pay monthly for this thing. I have tracked this product, tracked my body every single day for 1,063 days. I'm emotionally attached. I know what my resting heart rate was last night. I know what my HRV was. I know my hours of sleep. I know the steps that I have. I know my average calories. I know my heart, my weight. I know my VO2 max. And I'm obsessed with it all. It actually changes my behavior. I'm so emotionally connected to it. It's awesome. So, and I'm a Minnesota Vikings fan, right? That's hard as a Minnesota Vikings fan because they don't win very much, but I'm emotionally connected. We've never won a Super Bowl. Not one time. I've tried to. I said, you know what? I need to like be emotionally connected to another team. Can't do it. Can't do it. I tried. I can't. I'm emotionally connected to this team, and I'm going down swinging. With this team, I'm all in. I'm like with World Cup or with F1 or whatever. I'm casually interested, but with my hockey team or my football team, I'm obsessed. That's what you want with your product. So emotional disconnection is a reason why people leave. There's no community to connect with. If there's community, that would help. Or the product stacked up. Sometimes if you have an auto ship, product can stack up really easy. And you got to come up with a way to be able to pause somebody's orders to let them catch up in actual daily use or consumption. They cancel sometimes because consumption doesn't match the shipments, not because they hate the product. So that's some of the reasons why customers leave. And you need to examine inside of your business. Why? Why do customers leave in your business? Why do they stop ordering in your business? Would it be worth calling some of them that stopped ordering, that canceled their auto ship, that canceled their service, that canceled their subscription, they used to order and they stopped? And not with an attempt to try and resell them, just to ask. Hey, I'm just curious. Why? And feel free to just be honest with me. Why? Tell me why. And if somebody says price, it was just too much, what should that tell you as a marketer? You didn't show them enough value to justify the price. See, I don't care what the price of this is. I don't care. I really don't. They could double the price. I'm not stopping. Ever. I'm in. So find out, and then maybe there's some education, and maybe you can't get that customer back, but maybe you can help the next customer in order to be able to set a proper expectation. Okay? So next section is let's talk about some customer retention strategies. The big idea here is customers stay when they use the product, understand it, feel supported, and develop emotional connection. So I want to say those 4 things again. They stay when they use it, they understand it, they feel supported, and they develop an emotional connection. So let's talk about some areas where we can improve. Ordering is a big one. Network marketing is notorious for friction. And let me tell you what I mean by friction. We don't make it easy, man. I mean, and we have to compare ourselves against the world that is doing everything it can to help you do one click and help you make things super simple. We make things really hard. So I'm the type of person, and I've been trained. If I go onto my Amazon site, every time I do, it's like a magic trick. When I just go to the site, I'm already logged in. I just search for the thing, and I push a button, and I'm done. I walk away. And it's just like, and I get it tomorrow. Amazing. Awesome. And then I go to one of your sites because I want to buy one of your products. And then I have to fill in the information. And then I've got to add the thing. And I got to create a password. And I got to confirm the password. And then I got to go to the next page. And I got to sort through to find the product that you told me to find. And then I got to scroll through that. And I don't know, do I buy quantity? Oh, no, they're making me buy an auto ship. Do I want an auto ship? I'm not sure if I want an auto ship. maybe I just want to try this first. Like I'm doing all that stuff and then I can't remember. I got to go to some site that I'm not, how do I remember that? I can't remember what my password is. I didn't put it in my little note thing, in my permanent password thing. And if you make me go recover my password too many times, I'm going to punch somebody in the face. I hate retrieving my passwords. I'm almost given up on security in the world. I don't care. Everybody can have my passwords to everything, almost. So it's like where I'm at with it, because I'm so annoyed by it. So think about if your website's clunky, walk them through it. If shipping is confusing, explain it. Take the friction out. This is what you need to do as a team. Make the act of buying feel like a win, not like a chore. Okay? Make it feel like, yes, I did it. Awesome. Exciting. Not like, oh, I have to go do it. Even like these apps that I downloaded, the orientation, I was already annoyed. Because they walk me through, 18 screens of, and then this, and then this, and then this, and then this, and, how old are you, and what's your gender, and what are your goals, and tell me where did you learn about us, and not happy. So some of your company's websites are not amazing. So you need to be amazing as a group in order to be able to make the act of buying feel like a win, not like a chore. Okay. Personalization checklists. So for a retention strategy. And it's hard for me to give you a one size fits all, but when you're signing up a customer and they're buying this product, okay, ask questions that might reveal needs in their life that other products you have would help. So learning how to personalize this ordering process by asking, why would you, like, for example, do you have a sleep? Do you ever have challenges with sleep? Yes or no? Yeah. Oh, we have something for that. Do you ever need more energy? We have something for that. Do you interested in weight management or support of some GLP-1 endeavor that you're going down? We have something for that. Hydration, skin, travel, family protection, services, whatever. Make a list of the things that you can help with and then ask the questions. Do you or anybody in your family have a need of this or this or this or this or this or this or this? Because I want to make sure we take care of you the best possible way. Oh, you do? You might want to try this. Now, this sounds like a small thing, but what if it happened with every single new customer that you brought into your organization? Would you increase customer lifetime value just by having a checklist and recommended products for those particular needs without making outrageous claims? Answer is yes. So in the ordering process, eliminate friction, personalized checklist, thicken things up. Next area is customer onboarding. The longer the time between delivery and first use, the less likely they are to ever use the product. I have a neighborhood philosophy. And some of you might experience, some of you are amazing neighbors. Like my brother and sister-in-law, any neighborhood they move into, they become the unofficial mayor of that neighborhood. They know everybody. They meet everybody. They know everybody. They know everybody's kids. I'm kind of a homebody. I'm not that type of a person. But here's what I've learned. If you move into a new neighborhood and if you don't say hello to your neighbors on right and left quickly, the longer the time between moving in and having a conversation with those people, the less likely you are to ever have a conversation with those people. And I'm terrible. I have people across the street that I've never met. I don't even know who they are. I mean, I know one neighbor on one side, and that's because a friend introduced us, not because I went over and said hi. I mean, I'm terrible. I'm just the worst. But there have been times when I moved into neighborhoods and was intentional about quickly meeting everybody. When I met them, all right, now off we go. So same thing's true when people become a customer in your business. There's order, delivery, and first use, right? They order, how long does it take for them to get it? And then how long until they use it? If it's a service and they don't use it in some capacity, even to go check it out, even to go learn more about it, even more to familiarize themselves, to get educated, they're not likely to ever use it. They'll forget that they even have it. And eventually it's going to get popped up on some app that says, hey, you have this thing that you've never used. And they go, cancel. Or a product, they get it, it's in a box, it's sitting over here. This is in a box wrapped up in a thing, and it never made it from the garage to the kitchen. Or it sat on the counter in your bathroom and you never opened it. And pretty soon it went from on the counter in the bathroom to the shelf in the bathroom to the closet in the bathroom to the bottom drawer with the NyQuil in your bathroom, and it's forgotten. So here's what we want to reinforce: fast use. We need to track product delivery, follow up, ask them to text us when they get their product or when their service is activated, whatever. Get on a video call, walk them through it. Like my friends in India go to the house and they help them. They're involved in nutrition, health and nutrition. So imagine there's, something that you got to mix up. They'll do it for them. Let me show you how. Let me show you how we make this. Let me show you how we do this. Let me show you where to put it in your house. Like I've developed, if you're like me, I mean, some of you, we want to live forever. So, all the peptide stuff. I'm doing all the anti-aging stuff, all the biohacking stuff. I don't know what's working because I'm doing everything. I have everything. But what I learned is if you're taking a bunch of, amino acids or, different supplements in order to be able to live healthier, if it's in 50 different bottles of stuff, I'm unlikely to use it. But if I put it if I combobulate it in a little Ziploc AM packet and a PM packet, and I put AM next to my sink right where I brush my teeth, and I put PM right next to my bed, I'm going to take it. So if you went into somebody else's house and let's say you got skincare, where are you going to put that product? Where they have to trip over it. Where they're going to be reminded every day. You're going to put it on their sink in the bathroom. Wherever they would normally do skincare stuff. If it's nutrition, you're going to put it somewhere in, next to the coffee maker or on the shelf. Don't let it go die inside of some cupboard somewhere. Oh no, I'll bring it out for the first 30 days. Humor me. Let's just put it out on the counter. Let's just have it here. Right? So, and if you couldn't go to somebody's home, if I signed you as a customer, I would recommend the following process. Once you know, if it's a physical product company, once you know that they've received their product, say, do you have a moment for a quick video call? Are you home? Yes. Do you have a moment? Yes. All right, I'm going to call you on FaceTime. Ring, 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 ring. Hi. So you got it. Show me. Show me where it is. Oh, it's a box over here. Well, the box isn't even open yet. Get a scissors, open up the box. I'll wait. Oh, you got the box open? Okay, good. Now I want you to pull that out. Where would you normally use this product? In the kitchen or in the bathroom? Oh, in the kitchen. Okay, where in the kitchen? Take me over to it. All right. Let's try one use right now while I'm on the phone. Let me walk you through it. Let me show you how to do it. I walk them through it, help them use it the first time. Now, and then I would challenge them, right? Challenge them. Let's put it there and let's make sure we use it every day or whatever is recommended for the product. Let's make sure that we use it every single day for the next 30 days, and then we'll be able to judge whether it works or not. Now, that might seem small, this first use, fast, walking them through it. If there was somebody that I knew and trusted that would tell me and walk me through Macro Factor, I'd probably be using it today. As it stands, I know I signed up for a 7-day free trial, and now they're charging me, and now I'm annoyed. Now I got to go cancel and go figure out how to do that, do all that stuff. But if somebody walked me through it, I'd probably be using it. So first, use fast, and then product placement. Say it again. Cabinets are where products go to die. Help them decide where to place it so they remember. Bathroom sink, nightstand, kitchen counter, anywhere where they could see it daily. Visibility. You wouldn't believe how important this one word is. Visibility equals usage, and usage equals results. If they don't see it, they're not going to remember to use it. It's not part of their life yet. This thing, if I take it off, my phone's going to say, hey, where did it go? What's going on? If I turn the app off, it's going to remind me, hey, make sure you keep your app on. It's so good at keeping it front and center. So you got to create visibility with your products or services. And services are a little trickier, right? So, there's two types of service people. One is the people who don't use the service, and because they don't use it, they say, well, I guess it wasn't worth it. Sometimes there's people who use the service that didn't live up to their expectation because it was maybe oversold. Third group of people who are properly educated on the service. And sometimes usage is just knowledge. Knowing how you could use this service when you need it. That might be enough. You might not need to actually use the service, but if you could, it's going to be better. The faster you do it, the better. So visibility, get it in front of people. You got customer onboarding, product placement, first orders, first use. Next category past visibility is reordering. I want you to consider treating every reorder as a brand new sale. Don't assume it's automatic. Actually, if you're going to assume the worst. If you're going to assume they're not going to order. If you're going to assume they're having doubts. If you're going to assume that they're a one-time customer. Treat every reorder as a brand new sale. Let me say that again. Treat every reorder as a brand new sale. Don't assume it's automatic. Check in before they run out. Check in before. If your company will give you notification, this person is intending to cancel. Or they just canceled their auto ship. The next one's not for another 10 days, but they just canceled their auto ship. That'll give you some notification to be able to go talk with them and say, hey, can I help you with something? So don't assume. Handle reorder objections with the same care and attention as you had with the original sale. If they're not reordering, why? Find out why. You're going to get some objection. I just don't have the money right now. Which tells you what? You haven't shown them enough value to justify it. It's rarely about the money. It's almost always about the value, their perceived value. They're not using it. We have the whole reasons of why people would cancel. It's one of those reasons. And you're just going to go through the same objection answering process as we've talked about before. But if you handle this, a lot of people think you only deal with objections when you're making the initial sale or you're signing the recruit. You're going to deal with objections forever, with every customer ongoing, with every distributor ongoing. Why is this worth it? To increase the customer lifetime value. So reordering is important, and you need to pay attention to it. You need to be part of the process. Most people in network marketing leave reordering to the company. Hey, I did my job. I brought them in. Company, it's your job to get them to order as much as possible. It's not the company's job. It's your job as a coach, as a mentor, as a salesperson. We talked about this before. Know when to pause. If they've got a shelf full of unused product, pause the order for them. Hey, do you have enough? Do you need to just pause for a second and then we'll restart? And then if they need to restart, help them restart. My mom got involved with the company, great company, and has an amazing product. And to support my mom, I'm like, yeah, sign me up. Sign me up. I'm in. I'll use this product. All right, fantastic. So I start using the product, and something happens with time. I think the older you get. Like I got shoulder surgery, from throwing the ball too hard when I was a kid, rotator cuff issues. But before that, I was getting cortisone shots. And I remember I went into my doc to get a cortisone shot, and I said, yeah, it's really bugging me. He said, when did you get your last shot? I said, I think it was like 9 months ago, something like that. He looked it up. He said it was 5 years ago. Oh. You get like time distortion, right? It's like, so same thing happens with me. I sign up with my mom with this product. I think I'm using it every day. My wife comes to me one day and says, do we still need to order this? I know it's your mom and all, but come on. I said, what are you talking about? I use it every day. She opens this drawer and there's like 18 months supply of this product. I'm like, oh, I guess we should cancel. Right? We went through that product, and guess what? I never got back on. It's like, I probably should just proactively for my mom, but I just never did. So if you care about the person, if they're stacking up, that stack up, they're getting resistance from their spouse and their credit card statements and everything else. They're getting resistance, and if it stacks up, or they're not using it, if they have a service and they're not using it over a long enough period of time, they're going to cancel. If they have products and they're not using it or they're stacking up, they're going to cancel. And they're going to say that they'll come back later. They're not going to come back later unless you're part of the process. This proves you care about their results, not just your commission. If you're willing to pause shipment for their long-term benefit, this one move, this one idea, knowing when to pause, will buy you years of trust. If you'll be part of the pause process with your customers, even on a service, they haven't used it or they're not in the season to use it. Should I do that with a service? Well, if you want to keep them long enough, it's better than build up some resentment and then they end up walking away for forever. I believe you can double your customer lifetime value just by actively being part of the pause process with them. If they'll make 3 orders on their own, just by knowing when to pause and helping them in that process, you can take the average from 3 to 6. That's what I believe. I don't have science on that. I just have anecdotal information on that, but that's what I believe. And I think it's one place where you can put some emphasis. So reordering, product placement, first use, product placement, reordering, know when to pause. And then another area is product education. A confused customer quits. Like these apps that I downloaded. A confused customer quits. A confident customer reorders. So if you, all business is conversation, right? We need to start conversations and stay in conversations. That's true with our customers. So if you can just stay in touch, keep it light. You don't always have to be selling, right? At least not obviously selling. You can indirectly sell by telling them product stories, giving them different tips on how to use the product or service. Are there recipes and ways that you can combine particular products inside of your product offering that would be beneficial for them? If it's something nutritional, can you make it taste better? Can you show them, hey, try this, try that? Little messages like, did you know that the service does this? Did you know that the product you're taking just won this award? Did you know? Did you know? Did you know? Did you know? Oh, I'm so smart. I'm so smart. I'm so smart. It's the message you're sending to your customers. Other customer success stories. Let's say I've got this product and it's sitting on my shelf and I've never opened it. But I intend to at some point. It's just not part of my routine yet. If you make the sale to me and you send me, hey, guess what? Another person who has the same product that you have just had this benefit, this result, this benefit, this result. Make sure it's compliant. Make sure you're not overstating whatever it is that's happened, but some sort of success story. I'm like, oh, I have it sitting right here. I can go. I'm in. Let's do it. But you got to tell those stories. So product education, as much as you can educate somebody by keeping it light, that's going to help. Customer challenges. I've found that people love a challenge. So maybe it's a 7-day product use challenge. Maybe it's a 10-day hydration challenge. Maybe it's a sleep score challenge. Maybe it's a product recipe challenge. Maybe it's a use the service once this month challenge. Something. If it's about weight loss, maybe it's about releasing some pounds. If it's about sleep, maybe it's a sleep challenge. Whatever. Come up with some creative little things and what challenges will, and you test them all inside your organization, but find out what works for you. Okay? Next is recognition. It's like, can you recognize customers? Yes. Can you recognize them? The 2-order club, the 3-order club, the 6-order club, the 3-month club, the 6-month club. Could you have a customer spotlight, customer of the day that you could show on social? You know, your longest term people, can you highlight them? And why? You know, you think they're so amazing? Can you provide, is there any way that you could provide some sort of customer recognition that makes them feel good about what they're doing? So lots of different ideas, right? First, customer onboarding, first use, product placement, reordering, knowing when to pause, product education, customer challenges, customer recognition. Next is customer community. Can you create some customer-only groups or chats or platforms to provide tips, ideas, strategies, testimonials, results, education, challenges, recognition? Like if I was part of a customer-only group and people were offering up a bunch of different ideas, like there's a company I work with that's involved in nutrition, health and nutrition, which a lot of companies are, but they got some really tasty nutritional products. But they've been very creative in recipes of how to put this stuff together and make it taste better. So guess what I got? I have every recipe there is. And it changes my experience with the products, because I don't have just what's in the can or what's in the box. I've got a special concoction. And it tastes great. It's awesome, right? So it changes my connection with that product. So could you create a customer community? A lot of people create like Facebook groups just for customers to be able and add them and tag them to different messages inside of those groups. Can I add you to this group because you'll get some good ideas and good tips and education and all that stuff. There's community and the distributors are in there, giving encouragement and value and answering questions and everything else. Could you create a customer community? Surveys. Could you create a short, simple, few question survey for customers and use the answers to improve support? Could you do that? Answer yes, you could. Will you do that? That's up to you. You got to decide if you want to do something like that or not. And again, I'm giving you the full menu here. Like I said, that one strategy that I've just recently learned about with systemically throughout the organization, when they sign a customer, they go to the house and they meet the whole family. Next level. There's another one, and this is a case study. So in addition to surveys, and there's different apps and platforms that you can use for surveys. SurveyMonkey is one that I've used, but you can use different survey stuff and make it very simple in order to be able to get data. How valuable is the data as to why a person's not ordering or what their experience is like or how they would rate the customer experience on a scale of 1 to 10? How likely are they to refer this to others? I mean, this is valuable stuff. So the sticker strategy. You ever see these sheets of stickers, like let's say they're like yellow stickers or something, and there's a whole sheet of them? There's a company that I worked with that here's what they did. And they had lots of products that would help a person in their home. Nutrition, skincare, health, benefits, lots of different things. So what they did is they went to the house and they had their logo with a little barcode on the sticker. Okay? And they went through the house and they put a sticker on every single product in the house that they had an alternative product for. And what it says, when you run out of this, don't order another one of these, try ours. They put it on the shampoo bottle. When you run out of this shampoo bottle, instead of ordering another one of these, try ours. Here's the barcode. They put it on everything that they had, and think about how many things could you put a sticker on in somebody's home. And I'm not saying you have to do that, but if you did, would that increase the average customer lifetime value? I think the answer is yes. If you had, a house full of yellow stickers, you're like, well, we're out of this one. Hit that barcode. Let's call our guy. Let's order again. Next is testimonials. Ask happy customers for short testimonials. They not only become a story. Have you ever been asked for a testimonial or asked if you could be featured in some store or as a client of some chiropractor or something, or some personal trainer before and after, any of those types of things? If you're ever asked to be one of those people and you're put on the wall, not only does it help other people, it makes you proud. You're now more emotionally connected. They not only become part of the story, it deepens the customer's commitment because they publicly attach their name to the product. If you ask a happy customer for a short testimonial and then you go tell that, make sure it's compliant with your company's policies, procedures. You tell that story now, and you're giving some recognition. It's building your perceived value in the marketplace, but it's deepening the connection of that customer. They're likely to stay with you longer because you just recognize them as a customer. If, for example, in a restaurant, if you were on the wall of fame as a regular for that restaurant, your picture was up on the wall, how likely are you to go back? How likely are you to recommend it to friends? How likely are you to tell others about it? Much more likely. So, introductions. Ask for introductions, not referrals. Referrals are a little heavy. Some people say, well, once I get a customer, instead of asking for a referral, ask for an introduction. Do you know anybody else that would benefit from the products that you're using or the service that you're using? If you do, make an introduction. I'd love to help them. An introduction feels lighter, less responsible than a referral, like I got to vouch for this person type of thing, referral. But introductions. Stay in touch. Joe Girard, this auto sales legend, sold more cars, Guinness World Book of Records for selling cars. He had one strategy. You know what's crazy? Here's his one strategy to sell 13,000 automobiles retail. Every month, anybody who ever bought a car from him, he sent them a postcard that said, I like you. It was purple, it was yellow, it was different every month. Different shapes, different sizes. It would just say, hey, I like you, Joe. I think you're amazing, Joe. And that's all it was. And he did that 12 times a year. And guess what? Anytime somebody thought about buying or selling a car, they thought about Joe. Why? Because he stayed front of mind. People started collecting all these different ones. It's like, what is it with this guy? So when somebody else has a need that your product answers, if you're the one that stays in touch, you've got an opportunity to provide a solution to that. And if your organization does that at scale, what you have the ability to do is thicken your customer lifetime value. So, introductions, testimonials, stickers, surveys, customer communities, customer recognition, customer challenges, product education, product placement, customer onboarding, ordering process, all of these things contribute. Now, as I'm sharing all this with you, it might feel a bit overwhelming. It's like, it's so much stuff. Here's how you build systems around this. As I've been sharing all of this, pick one of these strategies. And my recommendation to you in building systems, there's like three layers in order to have a system. It's hard to just say, we have a system now. Let's say it's stickers. Okay. We're all doing stickers. That's not going to fly. Just so you know. As a step one. Step one is a challenge. Go to your team and create a sticker challenge. create a testimonial challenge, create a reordering challenge, create a testimonial, whatever, something challenge that has a shorter duration, and have people try this process to see what happens. The go to the home and meet the family challenge. And then from the challenge, once you get some evidence of this working, make sure you're tracking, and you can compare people who did it versus people who didn't. And then you can say the people who do this get twice as much results, 3 times as much results as people who don't. Now you've got evidence, and you've got something to be able to recruit your team into doing. So challenge is step 1. Campaign is step 2, something that's longer. So challenge is 1, to get some evidence. Campaign is to start to build it into your culture. And from the campaign, sometimes these are shorter term and they just didn't work. You did a challenge, it worked kind of okay. The campaign was okay, but it wasn't enough to build into a system. That's fine. You still got thicker results. But what I've seen is if you have an intention first, you challenge people first, you have a campaign second, and then eventually you bake it into your system. But pick one of these things and go challenge, campaign, system, and then pick the next thing. Challenge, campaign, system, then pick the next thing. Challenge, campaign, system. So as certified people are working with people in your organization, obviously you want to be the one leading by example. But if you evaluate somebody's business and you ask enough questions, you're going to ask questions like, what is your customer lifetime value? They're going to say, I don't know. All right, let's go look. Let's go figure this out. And then you can say things like, what is your, let me get these pages back in order. What is your customer onboarding process? Explain it to me. Well, like, what are you talking about? The customer just orders. Well, how long does it, how do you work with people to help them get their first use of product quickly? Oh, we don't do that at all. Okay, let's start there. You, as a certified person, can help diagnose with any one of these strategies and then give them a prescription in order to be able to get better results. So I gave you, 10 different potential strategies in order to be able to make this happen. But you'll come up with more. Some will be company specific. Some will be team specific. Some of your leaders will come up with some innovation. But if you understand that this is important, that this is a key principle, then you need to constantly be searching for something to be able to create a challenge, move into a campaign, and then bake into a system. And you have a system when everybody knows it, everybody does it, and it works. And it's documented, right? 4 things. Everybody knows it, everybody does it, it works, and it's documented. That's when you know you have a system. Other than that, it's just a hope and a prayer and a wish, and it's hard to have. Every business is a collection of systems, ultimately. What is your system for onboarding? What is your system for first use quickly? What is your system for product placement? What is your system for reordering? What is your system for the pause process? What is your system for product education? What is your system for customer challenges? What is your system for customer recognition, for customer community, for surveys so you know what's going on with your customer? What is your system for testimonials? What is your system for introductions and referrals? Feels a little heavy, right? Again, you're not going to master this by listening to it one time. You're just not. Guess how you're going to master it? One, study, right? You're here to get the information. But you're going to master it by doing it. By taking this information, taking one of these things, and bake it into a system, document it, and make sure that everybody knows it, everybody does it, it works, and it's documented. And then move on to the next, and the next, and the next, and the next. You're going to be able to teach best. One, you're going to be able to teach from the information that you have here, but you're going to be able to teach best from experience, from your own story. saying, hey, I tried this, and then I did this, and look what happened. Would you like me to show you how I did this? What I'm giving you is global best practices in order to be able to increase customer retention. The big question for all of this: what would help your customer stay another 90 days? What would help your customer order a few more times, one more time? What would help to increase your customer lifetime value for the benefit of your business long term? Get this, a 5% increase from a company's perspective, a 5% increase in customer retention, 5% will equal a 25% increase in company profits, company revenue. 5% increase in customer retention, 25% increase in profits. That's how it compounds. Very, very valuable. Okay? So that is customer retention. We'll come back with the next section. All right. More stuff with this one, right? A lot of different things. So put into the chat what was a big takeaway from this? Yeah, come on. What was the big takeaway? I watched some of you get a little overwhelmed. Stickers? You like the stickers? Do it, then teach it. Create a system and stay in touch. Systemize everything. So much, I agree. But again, we're here to learn, right? All the systems, customer lifetime, focused, FaceTiming. Assume the customer's not going to reorder. Create systems. Choose one and start. Yep. Get more interactive. First use. Follow the process. Use the strategies. Going to the house. Getting to know the family. It would change the game, right? Tracking, building systems. Build trust versus resentment by knowing when to pause. So good. So good. So smart. It all goes back to building relationships. But take the friction out, man. Make it easy. I got enough going on in my life. I don't need another thing to stress me out. Make it easy. Make it simple. Make it fun. Build community. Use the system and teach it. Why customers stay and why customers leave. Create ways to stay front of mind. Yes, visibility is very, very important. Huge thing. Stay in contact. Postcard idea. Staying in touch. Lots of different strategies you can use. And it doesn't have to be a postcard. You can send a little I like you message on social if you want. Tips for leads learning unreasonable hospitality. That's a great book, by the way. Unreasonable Hospitality. I don't know if I have it down here. By Will Guidara. Great book. Unreasonable Hospitality. Yeah. Yeah, Michelle's got it. Yeah, good. All right, good. So why don't we do this? Let's take a 10-minute break. Just to let everybody stretch for a second. I know that was like mentally blah, a lot. This next section's a little bit longer. The distributor retention is a little bit more intense, believe it or not. Distributor retention, but it's very, very valuable. But so let's take 10 minutes. You can stretch, get something to drink, use facilities, whatever it is, and we'll be back. 10 minutes. See you soon.